Assalamu alaikum girls. Welcome to General Science Class 9th, week number 3, Monday 20th April to 24th April 2020. The name of the chapter is Microorganisms and Diseases. First of all, we are going to do the recapitulation. Last week we read about bacterial diseases. Bacterial diseases are the diseases which are caused by bacteria. Common bacterial diseases are whooping cough, diphtheria, tetanus, typhoid, and cholera. Subtopics to be covered in this week are viral structure, viral disease, smallpox, polio, influenza, measles, AIDS, and hepatitis. The objectives for this week are describe structure, shape, and size of a virus, distinguish between virus and bacteria, analyze the spread of viral infection, describe causative agents, spread symptoms and prevention of smallpox, polio, influenza, measles, AIDS, and hepatitis, formulate scientific questions about the spread of diseases, plan ways to model and answer to the question chosen, select and integrate information from various sources, including electronic and print resources, community resources, and personally collected data to answer the questions given, communicate scientific ideas, procedures, results, and conclusions, describe, evaluate, and communicate the impact of research and other accomplishments in treating the diseases. A virus is a tiny infectious particle that can reproduce only by infecting a host cell. Girls, nowadays there is a very common viral infection. You all know about that infection, and because of that infection, your schools are also closed. This infection is also caused by a type of virus. I hope so. You all you all know the name of that virus. Viruses use host cell resources. Host cell resources means the organism on which they are living. Host cell resources to make more viruses, basically reprogramming it to become a virus factory. It means they attack the host cell and then reproduce there in large numbers. They are unable to reproduce outside the body of a host. Because they cannot reproduce by themselves without a host, viruses are not considered living. Nor do viruses have cells. It means they don't have typical structure that a cell has. They are very small, much smaller than cells of living organisms and much, much smaller than bacteria, and are basically just packages of nucleic acids and proteins. Structure of a virus. There are a lot of different viruses in the world, so viruses vary in their sizes, shape, and life cycle. It means not all viruses are having the same size, they are not having the same shape, and they are not having the same life cycle. Viruses do, however, have a few key features in common. These include, have a look on the diagram at right side, a protective protein coat or capsid. You all can see a protective protein coat or a capsid. It is shown with purple color in the diagram. A nucleic acid genome made up of DNA or RNA. In class 8th, I hope so you well remember what is DNA and RNA. They are the genetic material which are responsible for transferring genetic information from one generation to another generation. This DNA or RNA is present inside capsid. You can see the capsid is shown with purple color while the nucleic acid genome is shown with green color. The third one is a layer of membrane called the envelope. You all can see a blue colored envelope. This envelope is present as the outermost layer of a virus. Shapes of capsids. There are different shapes of capsids. In this figure, you are shown three shapes. The first one is icosahedral, the second one is filamentous, and the third one, which is most common one, is head and tail. Have a look on this Venn diagram. In this Venn diagram, there are certain differences and similarities between viruses and bacteria shown. The common differences between bacteria and virus are: a bacteria is a living organism. It is unicellular. It is one-celled. It is larger than virus, and a form of asexual reproduction, fission, take place in bacteria. While if you look at viruses are non-living. They are having no cells. They are quite smaller in size, and their reproduction is whenever they are present inside the cell of a host. Now, there are certain similarities between both. For example, both can cause diseases. Both are spread by routes of coughing, sneezing, coming in contact with contaminated animals, peoples, and items, and both do not have a nuclei. In this diagram, you can see a virus life cycle. This diagram is not present in your books. Definitely, it will not come in your exams, but only this diagram is given for getting some basic information about virus life cycle. You can see that virus enters into the body of a host as a single cell, but whenever it comes out after infection, it is present in large number. The first disease which we are going to discuss, which is caused by virus, is smallpox. Smallpox is a serious, contagious. Contagious means it can spread from one organism to another organism, and sometimes fatal. Fatal means life-threatening. It can kill, and sometimes fatal disease. At its height, 10 to 15 million cases a year, with 2 million deaths are reported. There is no specific treatment for smallpox, and only prevention is vaccination. The name smallpox is derived from Latin word spotted and refers to raised bumps. It means the people who are suffering with smallpox are having bumps that appear on the face and body of an infected person. How smallpox is spread? Smallpox is caused by variola virus and is spread from person to person. It means it is contagious. It can pass from one person to another person. Smallpox is spread when an infected person talks, coughs, or sneezes small droplets containing infectious agents into the air. The droplets in the air may be breathed in by those nearby or may contaminate objects. Smallpox can also be spread by direct contact with blister fluid. Have you ever noted that the blisters are having a fluid in them or contaminated objects? Smallpox is a potential bioterrorism agent. It means bioterrorism means whenever some biology or living organism act as a threatening agent to another living organism, we can say that it is a bioterrorism agent. It can be prevented by isolating patients from rest of the family members from the start of the illness until all scabs have disappeared. The only remedy or control is the use of vaccine. As it is told earlier also, the vaccine against smallpox was the first one to be discovered. The second disease which is caused by a virus which is given in your book is polio. Poliomyelitis or polio is a highly infectious viral disease that can be deadly. It means it can kill. This is a disease of infant in which the lower limbs are damaged, making them disabled. The polio virus, which can cause paralysis when it invades the nervous system, is usually transmitted through contaminated food and water. Polio spreads through air and water, and the infants below the age of 5 are the victims. It means the kids which are having age less than 5 years are the victims of this disease, and the mature people or the grown ups do not usually suffer from polio. Is transmitted by contact with secretions from the nose, mouth, or feces of infected person. The virus enters through the nose and mouth, multiplies in the nose and intestinal tract, and is then absorbed and spread through the blood and lymphatic system. The incubation period. The incubation period means the resting period or the period in which it increases its number. The incubation period, the time from being infected to the appearance of symptoms, is 7 to 14 days. This disease can be prevented by certain methods. First of all, just keep in mind that there is no cure for polio. It can only be prevented by vaccination. Immunization against polio is recommended for all children at regular intervals up till the age of 5 years. Its vaccine is available in the form of oral drops. It is also important to practice good personal hygiene to reduce the spread of polio virus. The next disease is influenza. Influenza is a viral infection that attacks your respiratory system, your nose, throat, and lungs. I hope so. You are all well familiar with influenza, and kids usually caught influenza many times a year. Influenza is commonly called the flu, but it's not the same as stomach flu. Viruses that cause diarrhea and vomiting. It is not dangerous disease, but it is highly contagious. It spreads from one person to another person quickly. How influenza is spread? Influenza is an airborne virus and is spread from person to person by coughs and sneezes. It can also spread by droplets that fall on surface like counters or furniture or on your hands that are touched by your hands and transferred to your nose or mouth. Remember that a person infected with the flu can infect others 1 day before and 5 days after getting sick. How the flu works. The virus enters the respiratory tract. After entering the respiratory tract, the virus starts to replicate itself. What is the meaning of replicate? It means it starts to divide. The respiratory tract becomes swollen and inflamed. Once inside the respiratory system, the virus enters the bloodstreams. The first symptoms begin to show now. The common symptoms of influenza are runny nose, sneezing, sore throat, mild fever, redness of the eyes, irritation in the nasals, headache, fatigue, and weakness. How can we prevent ourselves from flu? The common methods are wash your hands, keep sanitizer close, don't touch your face, eat right, exercise, stay home, and get vaccinated. The next disease which we are going to discuss is measles. Measles is a childhood infection caused by a virus called rubella. Once quite common, measles can now almost always be prevented with a vaccine. After disease is over, the patient becomes immune to this disease for the rest of life. It means this disease cannot attack that particular person who once suffered from measles. You can see the diagram at the right side of the slide. You can see the kid is having irritation or reddish patches on the face. These are the indications of measles. The virus causing measles is usually transmitted by direct contact with infectious droplets or by airborne spread when an infected person breathes, coughs, or sneezes. Measles virus can remain infectious in the air for up to 2 hours after an infected person leaves an area. Common symptoms are runny nose, dry hacking cough, conjunctivitis or swollen eyelids and inflamed eyes, watery eyes, photophobia. Photophobia means that your eyes get irritated from light or sensitivity to light, we can say in other words. Light gray boils with red circles, a reddish brown rash, and generalized body aches. Prevention. Vaccination against measles is more effective preventive measure. Keep hands clean, cover your nose and mouth, consult doctor promptly, refrain from work or school till 4 days from the appearance of rash to prevent spread of infection. One of the most common diseases which are caused by virus is AIDS. This is a fatal virus disease which can threaten the mankind. Its full name is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. It's a chronic, potentially life threatening condition caused by human immunodeficiency virus, or we can call it HIV. By damaging your immune system means your defense system, the system which prevents your body against all the attacking agents. By damaging your immune system, interferes with your body's ability to fight infection and diseases. There is no cure for HIV/AIDS, but medications can dramatically slow the progression of the disease. Progression of the disease means the spread of the disease. AIDS is spread through blood transfusions. It means before getting any blood transfusion, you must thoroughly check that whether this blood is checked for AIDS. It is also spread by sharing needles during pregnancy or delivery or through breastfeeding. HIV don't spread by ordinary contact, and it doesn't spread through air, water, or insect bites. Common causes are it is caused by a virus called HIV. This virus kills, destroys the white blood cells of the patient. With the result, the immune system of the patient is destroyed. The patient becomes victim of various other diseases such as TB, pneumonia, typhoid, etc. because of natural resistance. Common symptoms of AIDS are headache, skin rashes, fever, night sweats, digestive system gets nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, thickening and curving of nails, weight loss and fatigue, etc. etc. A vaccine against this disease is in experimental stage. Use treatment as prevention, that is TASP, Educate yourself and others, use a clean needle, be cautious about blood products and especially blood transfusions, get regular screening tests. The medications have been highly effective in fighting HIV and its complications. Drug treatments help reduce the HIV virus in your body, keep your immune system as healthy as possible, and decrease the complications you may develop. The last disease which we are going to discuss in this lesson is hepatitis. Hepatitis means inflammation of the liver. The liver is a vital organ that processes nutrients, filters the blood, and fights infection. When the liver is inflamed or damaged, its function can be affected. Heavy alcohol use, toxins, some medications, and certain medical conditions can cause hepatitis. However, hepatitis is often caused by virus. The most common type of viral hepatitis are hepatitis A, hepatitis B, and hepatitis. How hepatitis is spread? There are five main types of viral hepatitis. Hepatitis C is the most serious type and spreads through blood. Hepatitis A is found in feces of those infected people. Hepatitis B is spread through infected body fluids. Hepatitis E is transmitted via food or water. Hepatitis D can only be contracted if you already have HPV. Common symptoms are fatigue, dark urine, pale stool, abdominal pain, loss of appetite, unexplained weight loss, liver enlargement, yellow skin and eyes, which may be sign of jaundice. How can we prevent ourselves? There are many ways you can reduce your chances of getting hepatitis. Get the vaccines for hepatitis A and hepatitis B. Don't share needles to take drugs. Practice good personal hygiene. Don't use an infected person's person items. Take precautions when getting any tattoos or body piercings. Take precautions when traveling to areas of the world with poor sanitation and drink bottled water when traveling. Okay, girls, that's all about today's presentation. If you have any question or ambiguity, you can ask me through the WhatsApp number. You can get that WhatsApp number from your class teacher. Thank you very much and best of luck.